7-yard line. That's a great call, too. Play fake, and Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Pull, touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levis swings it to Scatterboom. Scatterboom breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scatterboom is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. Revenge on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Edwards pulls off and buries a...
Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps? Welcome into Tuesday's edition, the first Taco Tuesday edition of Pitchfork Lunch for the new year. I am Michael Caratanito at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. As you guys know, love, enjoy, all that wonderful stuff. Check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. You can do it. Check it out there. Plus, you guys know you can go to the wonderful world of the good old IG. Yes, Instagram shows live there. Michael.Caratanito.5. Yes, all you have to do is add a dot between my first and last name and then a .5 after my last name. And bam, there you are on the IG. But yes, the grand poobah of it all. Guys, go to YouTube. You can watch live on YouTube. But when you're there, subscribe, because if you have missed any of Pitchfork Lunch, and not just season 3, where were you for season 1 and season 2? And you know what I say, Pitchfork Lunchers, my Sun Devil Nation, shame on you, but that's why I got you covered. Subscribe to the channel and you can watch all the shows. You can binge watch season 1, catch up, binge watch season 2, and then still watch season 3. So when I have these con reviews with, when we have the con reviews with the guests, but you have missed a plethora of phenomenal con reviews, whether it be with coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum, our awesome athletic director as well. You have missed out. Put it that way. You have definitely missed out. So that being said, subscribe and you'll be covered. So go to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Caratanito, and you want to go to the page, though. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, guys. And subscribe. Because like I said, you have missed a ton. And you got a lot to catch up on. Because, again, when we have repeat guests on, yes, interviews, yes, and some of the questions might be kind of the same, but we add to it. We spice it up. Innovation, Sun Devil Nation, you guys get it. But, yes, so anyway, a lot going on today. We were supposed to have a guest on, but unfortunately a emergency came up at work, so our guest will be rescheduled for tomorrow, which, again, absolutely awesome. He is rescheduled for tomorrow, and let's see. But yes, he is rescheduled for tomorrow. And we will have him on. But we will definitely have him on. Tomorrow, but so again, just had to make a little adjustment, but that's all right, because that's what we do. Again, onward and upward, innovation. But we will hear from Sun Devil Hockey head coach Greg Powers. Obviously, coming off, he crushed it yesterday, talking about the Desert Hockey Classic. We will hear from Coach Powers about that, and starting, the second half of their season, and taking on Miami of Ohio for the second time this season, second 2-game series. So it'll be the third and fourth games against them. And this team is absolutely hot. I know last week I mentioned I got to look at the pairwise. Now it's the NPI. And they have climbed that. We'll touch on that, but we'll hear from Coach Powers. He broke some news. Unfortunately, there's a Sun Devil that's out. Stick around. You'll find out who, which is such a bummer. But, again, unfortunately it happens, but things are on the up and up, so that's where we are with that. But yeah, we'll talk about the wrap up the Desert Hockey Classic, this team, how they've been playing. And chemistry. Here again, not just because I asked a question, there were a lot of great questions to Coach Powers today and his media availability. But I asked him a question about, like chemistry. Obviously, you start the season bringing a lot of young freshmen. Yes, you have experienced vets on the team, but it's the chemistry with the lines. And again, not just three lines. I mean, there's the fourth line that has freshmen on it, but have potential to get more and more minutes. And one of those freshmen, talked about it yesterday, Carmelo Crandall, scored 2 goals. He has 4 on the season, but Carmelo Crandall scored 2 goals over the weekend, during the Desert Hockey Classic. So that in and of itself, absolutely awesome. But yeah, these freshmen, chemistry on the line, he'll talk about that as well too. But yeah, I don't. Again, the youth, and again, it's yes, they're freshmen and they're getting a lot. So we'll hear from Coach Powers on that. Again, always love talking with Coach Powers, listening to him, and yes, we will. We're gonna aim to get him on the show before next weekend's homestand or home games, I should say. They're at a 4-game homestand, but next weekend's home games. So yes, but we're of Ohio Friday, Saturday this week. Obviously, get on out to Mullet Arena. Don't be bashful. There's that. Speaking of getting out for games, obviously, men's hoops hits the road this week. They are in Provo taking on BYU on Wednesday, so they're on the road. Women's hoops, though, they're home tomorrow for UCF. Did I get is it UCF? Just TC, yes. So tomorrow, January 7th, 6:30 p.m., UCF is in the Hizzy. They will. And it's at 6:30. By the way, you guys know me in times. It is at 6:30. They will be taking on, like I said, UCF. And again, the 15-1 Devils suffered their first loss in Provo. Speaking of Provo, by the way, dang BYU. No, but 71-62. Again, we'll have a little preview of the game tomorrow. We'll get some good sound for that. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. But yeah, it's UCF who is. I'll tell you right now. That's what we needed. So UCF right now is 0-3 in conference play. And they are 8-6 overall. So again, obviously not overlooking them. There are 2 undefeated teams left in conference play, and that is the 17th ranked Lady Red Raiders of Texas Tech, who are 3-0, along with the Lady Mountaineers of West Virginia, who are 3-0. But then you have ASU 2-1. 16th ranked Baylor is also 2-1. Love it. And again, Baylor's a good team. I'm not ripping them. I'm just saying in these AP rankings, just absolute stupidity. And you're obviously not watching games, not seeing defense, because I'd love to see. Yeah, I know I mentioned the rebounds yesterday, guys, but Pitchfork Lunchers, it's not even about being a Homer show. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. Believe me, those of you that have watched have known. I mean, last year, talking about hoops this time of year, I mean, men's and women's, it was a little tough. They were battling, they were fighting, they were being competitive, but it wasn't converting into a lot of wins. So, but it's not about that. So yeah, I can say at one point that yeah, you should be ranked off of oh, you're battling, you're close, you've dropped these games by 3 points, 5 points. Like yes, at some point it comes down to wins and losses. Well, I don't know, when you're 15-1 and 2-1 in conference play, yeah. I mean, Texas Tech is 16-0. Where is TCU? Oh, they're 13th. They're also 2. So the 2-1 teams in conference play, right? Colorado, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, who's ranked 11th, BYU, TCU, who's ranked 13th, Utah, Baylor, who's ranked 16th, and ASU. So again, I just say AP, open invite, guys. You can start a whole little, not little. We can start a whole big campaign on X and hashtag get the AP voters on to talk, because again, it's not just about, I'm not going to sit there and trash them. I'm not going to sit there and do that. It is about, or I'm having on just to trash them. I want to understand. It's not a lifetime achievement award. When you say schedules, again, in this day and age, transfer portal, you're taking away from talent, but winning inevitably, yes, and you can say, oh, well, the schedule is easy. This and that. Defensively, they held teams to below their thing. I mean, that 3-game stretch when they went on the road and beat Penn State, right? Remember that? They bi-coastal, so went back on the road, beat Penn State. Then that was on Tuesday, December 9th. Then Sunday, December 14th. Again, they came home, but then went up to Corvallis, beat Oregon State 55-53 in overtime. Okay, so you play overtime. You just have a gritty performance. You get the win. Figure, okay, they're going to go play Gonzaga on Tuesday with Monday an off day. There's going to be a letdown. And Gonzaga was a very obviously good and tough opponent. And the Devils come back and win a late bucket, 68-66. Boom. Then you open up Big 12 play, 79-63, and then 69-68 over Utah. Mind you, on the road. And then you lose to BYU, but still, like, there's no reason this team shouldn't be ranked. And that's why the AP is a joke. Again, it's not, if this was an SEC team, look, outside of South Carolina had a terrible, like, under 500 season. And then they started off like this. They would be pretty much ranked number 1 unless UConn's having the year that they're having. But you know what I'm saying. And that's why I said excluding South Carolina. Once there's some other SEC team or Big Ten team, they would have been ranked after they were 7-0 and kept being ranked. Like, again, you got to play the games; it'll work itself out. But it just shows that who's ever voting on this as a whole does not understand right now, this season only, basketball. So anyway, but Molly Miller done a phenomenal job. Obviously, staff, the team, phenomenal job. So whatever. You can hit me up in the comments. You think I'm crazy. Pardon me. You think I'm crazy. But again, not a lifetime achievement award. It's this year. So, I mean, in her last 51 games now, she is 47-1. But in her last 50 games, she was 47-3. Through the 50, 47-3, including, like, obviously sweeping the WAC tournament last year, all that good stuff. And then lost to Baylor, almost beat Baylor, though, in the first round of the playoffs. But it's insane. And AP in general, my soapbox again, because there's no reason they shouldn't be ranked. Absolutely zilch, zero, nada, none. So that is that. But we'll talk more about that. Also, like I said, men's hoops, they are on the road in Provo, taking on BYU, and that is and trying to can a 3-game losing streak, by the way, too. But they're at BYU tomorrow night. Again, that's 7 o'clock, and that game, you can actually watch it on Peacock, guys. Watch it on Peacock and listen on ESPN 620 a.m. But yeah, that game is at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. The women's game is at 6:30, so you can come here, and you can also, as you're here watching the women's game, cheering, you can, be keeping up with the men's game as they tip off half an hour later. So, I mean, that's always, again, you'll have back and forth, but nonetheless, they're in Provo. Then they come home this Saturday at 1 p.m., guys, local time. Again, these Big 12 games have been early. Saturday, they are taking on Kansas State. They're taking on K-State. Sorry, needed a drink there. They're taking on K-State, 1 p.m. here at DFA. And then, guys, next Wednesday, they will be down in Tucson taking on that team down south, guys. Territorial Cup battle. That'll be on FS1. That game tips off at 8:30 p.m. Yes, I am saying it to you, just like last year's game down there, tipping off a wee bit late. But 8:30 p.m., that game tips off on Fox Sports 1. But again, a lot of business to take care of before that. Let's get out of this 3-game losing streak for one. Because BYU right now on the men's side, they are, I want to say, I don't mind. I can't. If I could read my chicken scratch, I know you got. I just say it to you guys, but I'm really not messing with you, and I'm not showing you. Yeah, BYU. I was going to say is number 9 in the country. Before I've been like, yeah, they are in the top 10. 7 teams are ranked in the Big 12 that are, that are 7 of the 7 teams are in the top 25 from the Big 12. Thank you. They have 7 in the top 25. But BYU 1-0 in conference play, 13-1 overall. They are the 9th ranked team in the country. But when you look at, so the team down south, again, since they are number 1, I will show respect. Arizona is number 1. Iowa State is 3. Houston is 7. BYU is 9. Texas Tech is 14. Kansas Jayhawks are 22, and UCF is 25. So 7 of the top 25. So they bookended the AP top 25. They got number 1 in Arizona and number 25. So everybody's getting crunched by the Big 12, which again in hoops, not really a surprise, kids. Like I said, Iowa State. So conference play, the 1-0 teams are Texas Tech, TCU, Colorado, UCF, Houston, BYU, Iowa State, Arizona. And then Oklahoma State, Baylor, Kansas, Arizona State, K-State, West Virginia, Cincy, and Utah are all 0-1. Who did Kansas lose to kick off Big 12 play? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, well, that's what got UCF in. UCF climbed up and they beat Kansas 81-75, which again got them to number 25. So yes, 7 teams, top 25. The Devils, though, I digress. Circle it back to Arizona State, 0-1, 9-5 overall. But yeah, going to Provo to take on the 1-0 and 13-1 Cougars. Yeah, it's quite interesting to say the least because they want to get out of this. They want to get out of this funk. And AJ Dybantsa is the leading scorer for BYU, 23 points a game. Then you got Richie Saunders, who's averaging 18.2, and Robert Wright III at 16.3. So 57 points coming from 3 guys for a team that's 57 of the 87 that they're averaging a game. They hit their averages. That's what those 3 are getting. So yeah, BYU gonna be a little tough. You look at Keba Keita, who's their leading rebounder with 8 rebounds a game. Then you got Dybantsa again, who's number 1 in scoring. He's number 2 in rebounding with 7.2 rebounds a game. So we'll get more into that. But yeah, just saying that's a team that you guys, I'm telling you guys, obviously ranked but good, and they are going to be very, very fuming Oh wait, who's BYU's one loss to? They're undefeated in conference play. Who did? Oh, they lost to number 3 UConn at the time, who number 1 Arizona has beaten this year. So they lost to UConn 86 to only by 2, 86 to 84. So that's their only loss, and they're ranked 9th. Let's see who else in there. They beat Villanova, Holy Cross, okay, Delaware. Then UConn they beat number 23 Wisconsin by 28 points, 98 to 70. But always an excuse to again. Well, I mean they're 9th. Oh, it's respectable. Yeah, whooped a Big Ten supposed powerhouse and nothing. Then they turn around, beat Miami by 10, beat Dayton by 4. Well, the Flyers have had some pretty good teams, and they beat Cal Baptist by 31, and then they beat Clemson by 3, and then beat UC Riverside by 47. And then beat Pacific 93 to 57, and then beat Abilene Christian 85 to 67. Eastern Washington, they beat by 28. Sorry, they beat them by 27. 28, sorry. They beat Eastern Washington by 28, pardon me. And then K-State, like I said, they won their first conference game. They turn around and beat them by 10, 83 to 73. So, yes, when I look at the rankings, guys, do I think that BYU should be higher than 9th? Yeah, because let's see. With Arizona at 1, real quick, before we take a break, and like I said, we're going to hear from Coach Powers. Absolutely awesome. Love it. But you have Arizona at 1. You have Iowa State at 3. Michigan's at 2. So Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State. Then UConn, Purdue, round out the top 5. And then you have Duke, Houston, Gonzaga, BYU. Now, again, Gonzaga 16-1. They're down 1 spot. BYU 13-1. All right, like they're number 9, but again, I'm not maybe ready to put them up against above Houston. So, again, that top 10, absolutely madness. Then you have, BYU at 9, then Nebraska rounds out the top 10. Then you got Vanderbilt, Michigan State, Alabama, Texas Tech, Big 12, number 14, like I said. And then Arkansas, Illinois, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, Louisville, Tennessee, Kansas at 22. And then where is Houston, BYU, Texas Tech, Illinois, Georgia, Louisville. Wow. Oh, I'm thinking of the women's side. I was going to say TCU. But anyway, UCF 25. TCU's received 2 votes, actually. Indiana received 4. So yeah, I mean, I don't like. Again, on the men's side, on the women's side, it's an absolute freaking joke. You can hit me up in the comments. You can say I'm a homer. The fact that they're not in the top 25, and I ripped off some schedules to you guys when they were 13-0, and then 14-0, and even 15-0, even at 15-1. I ripped off some other resumes to you from some other teams, and saying how can you like ASU schedule? It's ridiculous. But again, hashtag get some AP voters to come on and explain what I'm missing about, for some reason, and not being a Lifetime Achievement Award, and saying, okay, well, this team that they played, some slouch team, quote unquote, lesser team, I should say, they beat that, but ASU beats, whoever, and that team gets credit, but another one doesn't. So, anywho, but we are stoked. We are happy. Desert Hockey Classic, ASU won the third one. Moving on from that, Miami of Ohio is next. We're going to step aside, but then the wonderful and phenomenal Coach Powers, we'll hear from him right on the other side here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch, the first Taco Tuesday edition of the new year 2026. Here I am, Michael Kirstino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. You know it, you love it. Check out the show live every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1, my IG, Michael.Kirstino.5. And guys, the Holy Grail, the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, you know how to get there. You can go see my name, Michael Carotino. My page is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Again, watch live there every day, but you still, even if you are, you need to subscribe. So A, forks up to the new subscribers. B, you can always go back, reference, check out any of the shows. And yeah, season 1, season 2, season 3 as we roll along and get it done. But yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot there. So yes, hockey, like I said, they have Miami of Ohio coming up on Friday and Saturday, as they will be, they will be taking on Miami of Ohio Friday at 7, and then Saturdays, you know, always the matinee game ish at 5 o'clock. That's always good stuff. As they get set to, like I said, take on Miami of Ohio. We got 7 p.m. on Friday, and then 5 p.m. on Saturday. And man, it will be, and they're 11-10-1 overall, over 500. And you know, you talk about a team that started out 3-7, right? 11-10-1. I said 11-5-1. That would be phenomenal too. 11-10-1, but they started out 3-7, so they're 8-3. So obviously, I know you guys, your Sun Devils are going simple math, but you know, for those people of the school down south, sometimes we got to just you know, explain, do the simple math. But yeah, so they started out 3-7, and now they are 11-10-1. So they're 8. They started out 3. Where did the tie come in? Yeah, so they started out 3-7-1, and they're 8-3-0 in their last 11. So yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess I could just say 8-3. Anyway, that's when the tie came, though. So I wanted to get that correct for you guys. You know, it got to be precise, just like precision hockey. And that being said, I did promise you, yes, we will hear. We're about to hear from Coach Powers. But again, I'm talking about, like I said, you're going to hear about chemistry of the team, getting ready for that. You know, both his phenomenal goalies. I mean, that he has one, you know, a freshman, one, you know, experienced senior. But again, you'll enjoy it. So don't but yeah, that chemistry. I mean, everything. It's just this team absolutely crushing it. So yeah, that's one thing that is absolutely huge. But yeah, let's get to it as you guys want to hear from the phenomenal Sun Devil alum himself, another one of the alum coaches. Yeah, Coach Powers, again, club coach, club player, won championships. I think as a player and a coach, talked about that last year. But yeah, just again, this team rocking this top line. You'll hear about it in the interview what they are. Again, I said yesterday, they could be the top line in the country. Well, let's hear what Coach Powers has to say with one of the questions that was asked about that top line.
Fire away.
Just your thoughts about this weekend and how you feel like you guys played.
I mean, the result was really good. I thought we played really well for the most part. I still think that there's growth and opportunity to get a lot better and managing pucks in certain situations. But overall, obviously, we're trending in a really good direction.
How do you translate that into the next 2 weeks here at home?
Yeah, well, it's just the video and showing where we have areas for improvement, and I think if we can take that final step where we manage pucks in certain situations more effectively than we have, well, why can't we go 9-2 on our next 11 instead of 8-3? And that's the message. We went through an utter gauntlet that could have broke us, and it didn't. And now we have to use that to our advantage and continue to find a way to get better. We still have room to grow.
And then you mentioned talking about that gauntlet and room to grow, but obviously, talking about the top line, but all the lines you've talked about, how do you feel the chemistry, through this with each line has grown overall?
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, I think what's most impressive about the kind of segment we just went through is guys stepping up through some pretty big injuries, right? So just the depth of our definitely our forward group especially showed. Certainly Dowder being out for the last 5 games hasn't helped, but we expect him to be back this weekend, so that'll help. But yeah, the chemistry. I think the chemistry is obviously better, but what's better is guys understanding and really buying into what the role is, and being a star in the role, and making most of the minutes that they get, not focusing on how many minutes they get. And that's what great teams have from top to bottom is players in their room and on the bench that make the most of the minutes that they do get. So I think that's what our guys have really flipped the script and bought into, and if we continue to stay that way, and like I said, make some improvements with some puck management, we think we can be even better.
Any update on McGurn?
McGurn should be back. Yeah, we expect him to be back, which is huge.
With how thin your roster was the past couple weeks with the injuries and other departures, how did you see the rest of the freshmen just step up in that time?
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten better and better. When you bring in 11 freshmen, you never know kind of what you're going to get, but we're really pleased with their progress and their development. We even look at like Mello and Ben. I thought they were really good this weekend. They're learning how to play at this level. They're learning how important managing pucks and being on the right side of the puck and getting above pucks is to have success. And if they continue to play like they have and like they are in practice, you're going to see them get more and more, because they're both obviously really, really talented players that can really skate and give us an element that we need to reach the next level of our game.
You guys jumped quite a bit in the pairwise through that gauntlet, or the NPI now.
I still call it the pairwise thing.
I know it's like ingrained in my head, but after being in kind of the bottom third for the first part of the year, what's impressed you the most about how you guys have responded through that stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only so much you can put into a computer ranking until it has enough data where it makes sense, right? And now it does, right? And we're clearly in the fight. We know we're in the fight, especially with another good weekend. We should jump up, another 5-6 spots. So, we're right there, and I think that our approach wasn't, hey, this is where we are, the computer rankings, the way too early computer rankings, and push the panic button. It's boys, we better turn it up, right? And we have an opportunity through this stretch to get some big wins that will end up being the gift that keeps on giving. And when you beat North Dakota on the road in regulation, you beat Duluth on the road in regulation, you beat Dartmouth on the road in regulation, you sweep a Big Ten team at home, that's what happens. You catapult up. So we're thrilled about that. We're certainly not content. We still have work to do. We still have spots to jump, and that's the intent.
Coach, you lost a couple of players over the winter due to them going back to juniors. What's the process of that like?
Yeah, you know, it's. I mean, well, with Klutz, it was a touchy situation because he got really sick, and we weren't going to talk about that publicly, but it was very serious to where he was hospitalized, and he had to go back home, you know, right around Halloween, just for the medical treatment and all that stuff that he needed. And we're just thrilled that he's healthy now, you know, and he's back. And, you know, after being out so long and being so ill, it was the best for him to stay close to home and go back to junior, you know. So there was no, you know, ill will, crazy stuff that happened there. And with Zeb, he's an unbelievable kid. He just wanted to play more, you know, and that's the landscape now that we are in college hockey. With more scholarships available and deeper rosters, you see it happening on other teams too. I mean, it's going to happen, and you know, you go get the best players you can get, and you try to manage it the best you can. But you know, we really liked our left side on our D-core, you know, for various reasons with Bose and Richie and Kipper, who leads our D-core in points, and it was just tough for him to get in, and we wanted him to stay, but he made the decision that going back and getting ice time was going to be the best thing for him, and we completely support him. So it is what it is. I think it's going to be kind of a part of the new landscape, and you learn as you go, and a lot of teams are doing that. But we wish those two nothing but the very best.
How do you see those kind of situations affecting how teams in the future, how often they go to the CHL, knowing in the back of their mind that they could move those players in those?
I think there's a couple things you can do a little bit better. You know, like you can, you know, we always set the proper expectations, where you come here and you earn everything you get. You know, so there were no over-promised, under-deliver type situations with either of those two, and they would tell you the same thing. I think you know, when you have 26 scholarship players, it's tough. You know, in the past, you roster 28, and maybe eight of the 28 are low money or walk-on kids that will grind it out, you know, and earn playing time as they go for, you know, build and develop with you for a couple of years. But now when you have 26, you have kids that have pretty much been the best player on their teams their entire lives, and sitting in the stands is hard, you know, and it's something new for them. So it's both ways. It's kind of you know, calculating and trying to, you know, communicate clear expectations a little bit better. And then I think as college hockey becomes more the norm for the CHL, you know, what I think should happen and will with us is the older the kids can be when they come in, the more seasoned they are, the more of a chance they're going to have to play right away. So it's just slowing it down a little bit, you know. And I think the more that CHL kids are coming into college hockey, they're going to learn what it's all about, you know, and flip their minds where this is a 4-year process. You know, it's not a 1-year process, it's a 4-year process. And if you stick to that process and you get all the extra practice, all the time in the weight room, the nutritionist, and all that stuff, then it'll slowly start to become normal. Does that make sense?
In preparation for Miami, what is it like for playing a team a second time through the year? Is that harder, easier, or what?
I think it's one of the cool things about being in the league, you know, that we're excited about still, because we're still new in the league, is that you develop these rivalries with teams in your league, especially when you play them 4 times in a year. It's a lot. So we know their tendencies and they know ours, and obviously, you know, we split there, and so the series is on, the season series is on the line this weekend, and I know how bad our guys want to win it.
What are your thoughts on the switch from the compare-wise to NPI, given that they're so similar in most
Yeah.
aspects, and you guys have been kind of just outside that the
Yeah.
last few years?
You know, like, I mean, last year we used the MPI and a lot of models we would have made it. And this year there's some, honestly, some things in the MPI right now that just to me don't make a lot of sense. I mean, you look at our quality of wins and our strength of schedule. I just feel like we should be a little higher. But again, it is what it is. The system's a system. I don't get too much into the weeds on the different math and all that stuff, but the biggest thing is we control our destiny still. We put ourselves in a position to control our destiny. We don't need to get help. We don't need to only rely on peaking for playoffs. We certainly want to peak at playoffs, and that's a priority, but not for the reason of getting into a postseason in the NCAA tournament. So we control, and we put ourselves in that position.
When managing players with injuries, how do you manage the human being side of that?
Just communicate, and make sure that they know the line of communication's open, and that if they don't communicate the right way and communicate properly, then we're not, we don't have crystal balls. We can't read their minds. So just communication like we do everything else.
You mentioned a lot the amount of freshmen this year. What's it like having Connor and Sam back there? I mean, you've mentioned 1A and 1B. What's it like to have them throughout this past stretch?
Who?
Connor and Sam, the netminders.
Oh yeah, it's the best goaltending duo we've ever had. It's not even close. So they've been spectacular. We know our guys, they would honestly tell you, I can tell you, I'm confident with either one in net. Obviously Haz is getting more starts. He's the older guy with more experience, but Herbs can beat anybody on any given night. He went up and beat Duluth, and he's, 2-0 in his last 2 starts. Yep. So they're both great. They give a level of confidence. They let our guys, and you can start to see our guys really starting to play, and especially our top guys are playing free. They're playing like they can't, when you play like you can't make a mistake, because every mistake you make, you feel like is going to end up in the back of your net. That's when things go bad, and our guys were scoring, and our top guys are playing really, really good hockey. I think a large part of that is because they have confidence in our goaltender.
One more. When you have all of your lines clicking the way that they are and several players out with injury, what's that kind of process like, just trying to fit them back when they come back from injury, even with all the
Yeah, I mean, it's well, Johnny Waldron's going to be out this weekend now, so it's just how it works at this point in the season. You get somebody back, you lose somebody. Jack Beck's going to be out for the year, so we will say that. Unfortunately, his injury ended up requiring surgery. We tried to get around it and figure out a way to see if he could play. It's just not going to happen. So big loss, but we've gotten through it, and Becker will be back next year, better than ever and stronger than ever. So guys got to step up, and right now they have. Look at what Ty Nash has done. Look at what Logan Morell's done. Look at what Potsy and Cruz and Schimmer doing. We have plenty up front to get done what we need to get done. Go ahead, Gabby. You were gonna ask something.
Oh yeah, I know you talked about it over the weekend, but Cruz and Shimmick and Potter are highest scoring line in the nation after going back and kind of looking at it. What's clicked for them? How have you seen their approach change to get it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're special. I said when Cruz got here, and unfortunately wasn't able to display it because of his injury, that I thought he was going to be one of the best players that's ever played here, and he is. Same with Potsy, same with Shim. They're all three, in the top 11, I think, nationally in scoring, and 2 of them are in the top 3. It's pretty special, So, that's the thing. Like, when you have kids that are driving play that well and they're that dominant, everybody else just needs to buy into the role, get some secondary scoring, and we focus on keeping the puck out of our net. We're going to be tough to beat.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Coach.
And there he is. You heard him, Coach Powers. And yes, that part about, the injuries coming back, but he lets us all know that unfortunately that Jack Beck will be out for the year. And again, it's you had 5 goals before he went down, but yeah, it's he's a freshman, so. But he said, yeah, like you said, he'll be back in next year. But yeah, I mean, dealing with injuries and the Lions playing so good and working guys back in. Look, to overstate the obvious is always a phenomenal problem to have. Like we've heard Coach Bloomquist talk about before, filling out a lineup card. Like you're looking at it and you're like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So it's it's just that. I mean, and it does. It sucks. Obviously, no injuries, and then like you said, the players they lost. Back to that one, obviously went back to, the what was it, the WHL, AHL, whatever way, but either way, went back and but the sickness for one had to go home. He's talking about that. I mean, that's just terrible. But nonetheless, I mean, that's like you said, what you can do going forward. But yeah, the chemistry of the lines. That's what I wanted to ask him because we always talk about chemistry in sports. And it's one of those things where, yeah, you play with one team obviously for so long, and but now you come and play college, and you're not playing obviously with the same team, and yeah, you understand the sport, but just understanding where a guy wants the puck, how you can drive, the angle you can take. So, to overstate the obvious, I know you hockey savants know, but you're not crowding the ice, and then you're not running into each other, and you're not just the flow of the game, staying like coach talked about, staying above pucks. Going, taking the right angles in, whether you're staying above or going down low. It's just the chemistry of these lines. And yeah, I mean, to have a fourth line, like he said, they keep playing like that, they're going to get more and more minutes. It's one of those things where the better you play and you make it hard for coach not to put you on the ice, well, that line can go out there and be very productive. And yes, as you charge towards the back half of your schedule in the NCHC, which is just insane. And you're looking to make a postseason run as the Devils in the NPI, by the way, are number 25 with 11-10-1 record. They are, but their strength of schedule is the third highest at 53. Yeah, they're at 53, and because their schedule rank is number 3. Coach mentioned that the other day. So, the MPI index, it's one of those things. Same thing with pairwise last year, which again, and coach still said there's some things that don't make sense, which I've started to look at it kind of, but again, now is the time I'll look more into it due to the fact that when you think about it, like, yeah, the way too early, like he said, computer rankings and teams, haven't even figured out who they are, but nonetheless, that's where they are at. So yeah, it's again, love hearing from Coach Powers. Absolutely awesome. 11-10-1 Forks up Miami of Ohio here this Friday and Saturday. Again, Friday is at 7 p.m. at good old Mullet Arena, so get on out there. And Saturday, January 10th, is at good old 5 p.m. at Mullet Arena. So yeah, come on, don't be bashful. Don't be bashful. And then they have the 16th and 17th off, and then the 23rd and 24th, they're home for, again, yes, a very highly ranked North Dakota. Because when you look at the MPI rankings, you have Michigan number 1, but then NCHC, North Dakota number 2, Wisconsin at 3, NCHC, Minnesota Duluth at 4, Michigan State at 5, Dartmouth at 6, NCHC, Western Michigan at 7. Yeah, so I mean, it's yeah, it's great. I mean, so yeah, Western Michigan at 7, and then NCHC, Denver at 9. So yeah, I mean, you have 9, 7, 4, and 2, and this is a team that's played obviously number 2, number 4, number 6, Dartmouth, who they played, yes, on the road. So yeah, so number 2, number 4, number 6, They'll be taking on number 7. They played number 8, who's Penn State. Played number 9, who was Denver. Played States. But yeah, so you get what I'm saying. Like, a lot there. And this team, again, you look at the lines and defensively too, the way those pairings are playing, and like Coach talked about, look, this team, yeah, you start putting the puck in the net, everything seems better. But the flow, the pace, just everything, the chemistry of that top line of Cruz, Lucius, Bennett, Shimmick, and Colin Potter, they're tops in the nation, guys. Tops in the nation. Yes, the number one. Forks up to those guys for working it. Top line in the nation. So, anywho, hey, that was going to do it for today. We will have the guest tomorrow again. Also, then a little preview of the women's hoops game as they get set to take on UCF, 6:30 p.m. Desert Financial. We're going to get your butts out there to 15-1 team, guys. Insane. So, yes, we will have a little preview of that. Have our guest again, the president of. I say the president of because he was the first one. I mean, sorry, I brought it to my attention, but the Texas to Tempe shirts that say Tempe Texan. So, yes, he will be on with us again. Had an unfortunate emergency come up, but he said he is good for tomorrow. So, we're going to get out of here. You have a phenomenal rest of your Taco Tuesday. You guys know what I always say. Make it a little spicy, where they put some jalapenos in there, cilantro, maybe a little sriracha, Tabasco, Frank's Red Hot, green chili sauce, whatever, whatever you like to enjoy it with. But, give it a little spice. But yes, I will see you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. And as you guys know, as always, it is hashtag our state. It is hashtag our state. Thanks to back-to-back Big 12 volleyball champs, women's volleyball, reminding me of that. So it is hashtag our state, team down south. That's for you to always remember. And yeah, you guys, as always, go Devils. And I will see you tomorrow again. Have a great Tuesday. And as always, Forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Farmer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pull. Touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. This team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Today. Just run the other way. Still going back. That's the drag. Walks up and down. Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.